On June 6, 2021, right after a ceasefire was reached in the latest round of the bloody war between the State of Israel and Gaza, pro-Israelis held a parade and concert in Teaneck, New Jersey in support of Israel. Anti-Zionist Jews, along with other pro-Palestinians, protested the event, stating that a rebellion against the Almighty such as the State of Israel is nothing to celebrate, especially when the Palestinian people are suffering. The local police at first designated a spot for the protesters at a relatively large distance, but the protesters insisted on standing in a place where they would be seen and heard. We want to have our First Amendment right exercised, and exactly what we prefer to do, which is in accordance with the United States rules and regulations. We're going to stand across the street, not on this side. We don't want to interfere anyone. We're going to stand across the street of the entrance.
What street?
Across the street, the entrance to the park, just a half a block down. On the other side, I am aware there's no sidewalk, there's no traffic going past, so we're going to be very civil, just in one long line against the trees, and I guarantee there's going to be no problem from our side.
Okay, just so we're all on the same page, what section of the street are you talking about?
That side.
This street right here, from where we are up until the traffic light, is closed.
I do understand, but still the First Amendment right is allowed to be expressed in this area.
Understood.
And we are going to make sure we don't block any traffic, we don't disrupt any police officers, and certainly we don't disrupt anyone gathered in the park. We're going to be very strict on that.
Okay. I understand it, and I appreciate that, and I respect that.
Thank you.
Again, so the only issue is this part of the section is closed because it's our command post and our EMS post, so we can't have people behind us.
Okay.
Okay, let me finish. So, because this is a private event, okay, that's the section designated for you guys, okay, and you can't be along this street.
Okay, good. Good, thank you. Where is the official entrance today for this event, to the park?
I'm sorry?
Where is the official entrance to the park?
The official entrance is on the other side of this street, but this is also closed. So basically, think of this big square here, it's closed.
No, if there is a street that is allowed for their
there is no street. Also, this is that area that was designated for the police. So what I'm trying to say is this street's not available.
Their officer, with all due respect, there is no discrimination here. If there is any street which pedestrians are allowed to join that rally, that event, we would be allowed to stand there on the side.
While we talk, so we don't have a large group standing in the middle of the street, can we just talk to you and have everyone else right now move into there?
I would take everyone off the street, but I would like to finish this conversation and confirm what we're doing. Now, boys, let's get off the street because kind of they groups do. Right here, but off the street, please. Off the street. Please, off the street.
When we talk, we're going to talk over here, closest to the back. I'm not trying, I want to move everyone out of the way.
I'm getting everyone off the road, and we are going to come to a conclusion with all due respect. What I'm looking for one point. I'm looking to exercise my First Amendment right on a street which is allowed for pedestrians to go past. I doubt that this place here is federally restricted.
Shut down for the emergency personnel to keep everyone safe.
Again, where is the official entrance for those people to enter? Okay, then with your permission, we're going to cross through.
Here. No, that's shut down.
We're going to cross.
Hold on. Cap. Hold on, wait right here. Wait. Captain is here. Hold on. The park has got a permit for it. If you do not cooperate with us and go where we placed you, then we're going to have to lock you up.
With all due respect, I do this for 25 years.
Good.
And let me just be very clear. We have and we expect from the officers, with all due respect, to give us our First Amendment right.
We will.
We will not go as far as there. We are going to be visible, and we're going to be next to the entrance across the street.
We don't want any conflicts.
Same do we.
Okay.
Same do we.
The conversation I have with this officer here is, can we get that orange gate and move it a little closer so we're at least on the same planet with this event?
We're on the same planet.
We're completely
We're on the same planet. We're not going to negotiate.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That's what we have for you. We went through a liaison.
Israel is not a Jewish state. 5, 6, 7, 8. Israel is not
So there is an area set up for any kind of counter argument or whatever protesting. The only thing I'm asking is, if you're not going to be in that area, just keep on moving. You can keep on circling if you like, but you can't stop on the sidewalk and block the intersections in the roadway, okay?
Excellent. You know, if the issue is, you know, I do this for 25 years with all due respect. I'm going to make sure that all rules are being
listen, I was just, my supervisor asked me to come respect.
If the issue is the pedestrian sidewalk, I will make sure to keep it clear.
No. So the instruction is you just got to keep on moving. If you can't stop out here. If you would like to stop, there's some beverages and stuff over there, and you can stay over there in the organized area, okay?
With all due respect.
Okay, that's what my supervisor asked you to tell you.
Let me just tell you what our plans are. My plan is to stand.
If you have any questions or plans, contact the supervisor and check the police.
Just for your information, we are planning to stand there to exercise our First Amendment right. We're not going to
I understand that, but that's what I was instructed to do.
That's fine. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. We are standing here in Teaneck, New Jersey, while the pro-Israeli concert is taking place. And the question is, why are these people celebrating? They are celebrating bloodshed. They are celebrating the greatest rebellion against God. This existence of the state of Israel is a true rebellion against God in its essence. The concept of building a sovereign homeland for Jews while we are in a divinely decreed exile is a true violation, uprooting of basics of Jewish belief. But in addition to all of this, when we are standing here just days, just weeks after so many people were killed in Palestine by the Zionist regime, why? Because of an occupation which is going on already for over 70 years. We should never just think about the last couple of days, the last couple of weeks. We should go back and understand where all of this started. This is an occupation taking place, oppressing an entire people. This is not in favor of the Jewish people. And this is a terrible tragedy, a terrible violation of international law when all these crimes are being done to the Palestinian people. And what is being done to Palestine is not just a human rights issue, it's a godly issue. It's a violation of Judaism. And how sad and how embarrassing is this? How great is this desecration of God's name? When God's religion, the Jewish religion, is being unfortunately misused to justify all these crimes. How sad is it? How criminal is it? When we see that famous video of Yaakov from Brooklyn or from Staten Island, regardless where he comes from, and stealing the home of Palestinian people. This is not Judaism. This is not the Jewish people. It's embarrassing when we see that Yaakov appearing like a religious Jew, supposedly that his religion supports what he is doing. This is wrong. This is criminal. This is an embarrassment to the Jewish people and a desecration of God's name. This is a new philosophy of Zionism which was ostracized by all religious leaders from the day they began, with an exception of one handful. This is in no way to represent our religion. In no way can this represent the tradition of thousands of years. Seriously religious Jewish people who follow Judaism and who are loyal citizens in all countries where they reside, including in Palestine. Jewish people as a minority lived in Palestine. They lived as loyal citizens, as good neighbors. They were respected by the majority of Muslims, and they were protected. They didn't need a force, a military force to protect them. They had the Muslim neighbors to protect them. They had no problems. When we see in the news how a Al Jazeera reporter was arrested in Sheikh Jarrah, this is just one incident in this Sheikh Jarrah. This is a whole embarrassing story. This whole Sheikh Jarrah is wrong. This expulsion of the Arab people of Jerusalem is wrong. This is against Judaism. The oppression of the Palestinians is wrong. And this whole concept of Zionism is wrong. As Jewish people, we stand there and we say that all of this is against our religion, and we condemn all crimes being committed towards the Palestinian people. We condemn this occupation in its entirety. We demand that all rights be restored to the indigenous Palestinian population, including the full right of return. What will happen then? To should never follow Zionist propaganda. That if we return the land to the Palestinian indigenous population, if we do what is just, if we do what is right, we should never think that this will cause bloodshed. This will stop the bloodshed that was caused and is caused because of this occupation. We need to stop this occupation in its entirety, and peace that did exist in Palestine will be able to be the reality in the future. God willing.
We will free Palestine within our lifetime! Within our lifetime!
We know the whole thing, but for the safety of everybody, including yourselves, we'd like to know where everybody is, have eyes on everything, and make sure everybody gets their point of view across. Listen, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, with all due respect, that location is not really visible. It's pushed back people in a corner, which I don't criticize, you know, whoever designated that place, that's fine. But we really need to be in a visible place, as is guaranteed by the First Amendment, to be in a manner, in a time, in a place which is appropriate. Therefore we choose this place, and as you are aware, as the other officers are aware, we are very strict in keeping our people in order. We want to make sure nothing, no confrontation as well. Okay. That's fine. You know, we highly appreciate. By the way, this is my card, if you like, and we appreciate the officers right here. It seems to be very safe. It's going to get to a point where it's
correct. But if something happens in another area, and we tell you you have to move over to that spot, you're going to have to move over to that spot for the safety of everybody. Not to take away your freedom of speech and all that, but you know what I'm saying? So hang out here. We're good. Okay, but at some point, things may change, and over there, designated area. Thank you. Just like they have a designated area in the park. Got it. Okay? Goes both ways. So I appreciate it.
Israel, shame, shame, you don't speak in our name.
State of Israel, shame, shame, you don't speak in our name.
Judaism, yes. Zionism, no. The state of Israel must go.
Judaism, yes. Zionism, no. State of Israel must go.
Judaism, yes. Zionism, no. The state of Israel must go.
Judaism, yes. Zionism, no. State of Israel must go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation, no more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Occupation, no more.
5, 6, 7, 8. No more killing, no more hate.
5, 6, 7, 8. No more killing, no more hate.
1, 2, 3, 4. Zionism, no more. 5, 6, 7, 8. Israel is not a Jewish state.
5, 6, 7, 8. Israel is not a Jewish state.
3, 5, 7, 9. Free Palestine.
United States institution. Of course, and we take nothing less than that. And again, with all due respect, I'm going to make sure that you guys are happy. We don't disturb any event happening here. We don't encounter any individuals.
We make sure that we are civil and not engaging in any confrontation. If there is an issue, I'm here to help, and I'm here to guarantee you that everything is in order.
Outstanding, sir.
Thank
Appreciate that. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.
And there's how many in your group, sir?
I believe it's 25, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. No problem.
Against God! The state of Israel is a rebellion against God. We oppose Zionism because we are Jews.
What a tragedy to see how Jewish people, grandchildren of people who died in Auschwitz, are celebrating the rebellion against God. This is unacceptable. We are Jews. We are true to the Torah. We will never accept this rebellion, this heresy called the Zionist state of Israel. This is a direct rebellion against the words of the Torah, that we should not leave exile, that we should not steal, that we should not kill. How dare these people, these heretics, these people who disgusted, who turned away from the Torah, who scoffed at the words of God and the Torah, who ridiculed our rabbis, and they are your leaders, and you take that disgusting flag, this flag called the State of Israel's flag, and you wave that in the air, and you teach your children. That is disgusting. That is tragic. Where is your souls? Where is your minds? Why don't you take a little time and put yourself out of your comfort zone and study and see that every single God will be Israel, whether it was the Briskerov, whether it was Chanan Wasserman, Hashem Yinkum Domai, or the old Lubavitcher rabbis, or was it any other from the Gedolei Olam around the world, or Yosef Chaim Sommerfeld around the world in Eretz Yisrael, or from the Swedish Gedolim. They all stood in opposition to this existence of the Zionist state of Israel. Where are you? What are you teaching your children? Great-grandchildren of people who died in the ovens in Auschwitz because they were Jews, and you take on Ben Gurion, Yimach Shemo, Theodor Herzl, people who threw away the Torah, who knowingly reveled in wiping off the Torah from the face of the world, Chas v'Shalom, who ridiculed and stamped on the Torah and on the Jewish people who are practicing the Torah, and you wave their flag. Aren't you embarrassed? How could you do that? How could you spend your life when you think you're going to be practicing Judaism and celebrating a bar mitzvah and a bris kodesh, and you do that by at the same time waving a flag that is a direct rebellion against God, the Zionist state of Israel? Where's your cycle? Where is your logic? Where is your Yerushalayim? How could you stand and do such a thing? I hope with the B'Shafa's help that your children will grow up and maybe you will return and stop supporting this rebellion against God, and we should see soon, today, the end of the Zionist state of Israel, speedily and peacefully, amen.
Long live Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free
everything that we were taught, the repelling and the repulsion, the blessing of the Torah. We are standing here and we beg with you, we beg of these people across the street that they should wake up, they should listen to the voices of the rabbis of Europe. They should listen to the voices of their own grandparents who pleaded with them that they should stand up to truth and never support evil, never support a rebellion against God. We are the voice of the Jews around the world who are true to our religion, and we state the one truth is that there will be an end to this occupation. There will be an end to the Zionist state of Israel. And we as Jews will, with God's help, have the opportunity to return the homes and the respect to the people of Palestine, to our brothers and sisters in Palestine. Call me, my Palestine! Call me, my Gaza! Call me, my Sheikh Jarrah! This is not my voice! It is the voice of Judaism! It is the voice of our generations that came before us, and the voice that we will continue to raise until God, with His compassion, will bring an end to this occupation, to the Zionist state of Israel. We hurt, we cry, and we apologize for what is being done to the Palestinian people. And mind you, to the Jewish people who are being oppressed in occupied Palestine. This will end. In the Torah it says, why are you rebelling against me? It will not be successful. The Zionist state will end. We urge everyone to speak up. Don't be intimidated. Do not call it a Jewish state. Speak up. And remember, it is not anti-Semitic to speak up against this evil incarnation, the Zionist state of Israel. And ultimately, let us pray to God that we should live and see soon in our days the entire end of the occupation, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Gaza, Gaza, don't you cry!
Judaism yes, Zionism no!
Judaism yes, Zionism no!
The state of Israel must go!
The state of Israel must go!
Judaism yes, Zionism no!
Judaism yes, Zionism no!
The state of Israel must go!
The state of Israel must go!
Israel, Israel, what do you say?
Israel, Israel, what do you say?
How many kids have you killed today?